Hi, so for this video, we will be talking about credit transactions. And for credit transactions, same lang din, this is still a study sesh. So, yun. Credit transactions are contracts of security that include all transactions involving the purchase or loan of goods, services, or money with a promise to pay or deliver in the future. So basically, credit transactions, we all know what credit is, 'di ba? Parang utang. So ganun din yung credit transactions dito sa civil code. Lahat ng utang, lahat ng pagpapahiram. So ganun yung credit transactions. It could be comodatum, it could be mutuum, pwede ding deposit. So iba't ibang uri yan, and we will discuss each and every kind of credit transaction. So what is a security? It ensures enforcement of an obligation or protects some interest in property. So alam niyo yung concept ng collateral. For example, kapag umutang ka, meron kang, for example, gagawin mong collateral yung motor mo. So pag hindi ka nakapagbayad, yung motor mo, yung collateral, yun yung kukunin. Kasi hindi ka nakapagbayad, din yung parang bayad. Para ma-make sure na magbayad ka. Ganun din yung concept ng security dito. So there are two types of contracts of security. We have secured transactions or contracts of real security, wherein the transactions are supported by a collateral or encumbrance of property. Pwede din chattel mortgage or real estate mortgage. Unsecured transactions or contracts of personal security naman are transactions supported only by a promise to pay. So, yun na yung collateral niya. Yun na yung security niya, yung promise to pay or commitment of another to such a guarantor, for example, a surety. So, for example, pag meron kang guarantor or surety, sila yung security kasi if hindi ka makapagbayad, then pwedeng mag-pursue yung creditor mo dun sa guarantor or surety, which we will also discuss later. So, what is a bailment? It signifies a situation in which one person holds personal property, the ownership of which is in another. The person who has possession is under the obligation to return the same goods either in the same or in altered form to the owner or disposes of them for his benefit when the purpose of the bailment shall have been accomplished. So creation of bailment, pwedeng by contract, in which case it must contain all the elements of a valid contract in order to be legally enforceable, or pwede ding by operation of law. So parties in a bailment, we have the bailor and then the bailee. Also, the bailor is also known as the commodatario and the bailee commodante. So the bailor is the one delivering the possession or custody of the thing bailed, and the bailee is the one receiving the custody or possession of the thing delivered. So kung simplihan natin, borrower at borrowee. Yung borrower, yun yung bailee. Yung borrowee, yung nagpapahiram, yun yung bailor. So kinds of contractual bailment, it could be comodatum, it could be mutuum. Mutuum, simple loan. Pwedeng gratuitous, deposit, or mandatum. Pwede ring deposit for compensation, voluntary or necessary deposit, pledge or mortgage, bailments for hire. Bailments for hire arises when goods are left with the bailee for some use or service by him and is always for some compensation. So, ano yung kinds of bailments for hire? We have hire of things, rather. So, when you say hire of things, there are, of course, things, goods, and these things or goods are delivered for the temporary use of the hirer. Parang lease din ng goods. Hire of services, where goods are delivered for some work or labor upon it by the bailee. Hire for carriage of goods, where goods are delivered either to a common carrier or to a private person for the purpose of being transported. Hire of custody, where goods are delivered for storage. So, yun yung general for credit transactions. Yun yung bailment. Now, let's go to the more specific kinds, such as loan. So, what is a contract of loan? Utang, parang ganon. Pero kasi sa law, yung loan, hindi lang yung typical na pangungutang ng pera. It could also be something else other than money. So when you say a contract of loan, it is a contract wherein one of the parties delivers to another either something that is not consumable, so that the latter may use the same for a certain time and then return it, or hiramin lang, or other consumable things that is meant to be consumed or used or disposed of. So, yung example ng consumable, hindi lang yung kinakain na kinokonsume or mga bagay na nauubos, but also money. Money is also considered as a consumable. So, the contract of loan is governed by the rules as to the requisites and validity of contracts in general. So, again, what is a comodatum? Ito yung pinapahiram mo yung isang bagay. So, the bailor, yun yung nagpapahiram, yun yung borrowee, delivers to the bailee, yun yung borrower, yung humihiram, a non-consumable thing, an item, hindi na ubos, hindi nakakain. So, yung purpose nito is ipapahiram para gamitin ng nanghihiram. So, yung item na hiniram, kailangan ibalik niya yung same item. Hindi niya pwedeng palitan, hindi niya pwedeng i-convert kasi it's a specific thing. So, it has to be returned at a certain time, that same identical thing. Simple loan naman or mutuum is when the borrower here or the lender borrows something consumable, including money. So, ito na yung utang. Upon the condition that the latter shall return the same amount of the same kind and quality. It's not necessarily the same thing. Bakit? Kasi, nung pinahiram mo yung pera, hindi naman kailangang ibalik nung nanghiram yung same exact bills with the same serial numbers. Hindi. Pwede niyang gastusin yung pera, i-dispose, i-consume, i-use, gamitin, i-spend, diba? Pero kailangan niyang ibalik yung same kind, quality, amount. So, kung 1,000, kailangan balik niya rin 1,000 pesos. But it doesn't have to be the same exact bill. So, it's also applicable, it's also mutuum if it's some other kind of consumable. It could be like isang sakong bigas, gano'n. So, hindi kailangan yung same exact na sako ng bigas na yon. But if, for example, it's Japanese rice of a certain kind, then you have to return the same kind and quality. You can't return NFA rice, pinahiram sa'yo, Japanese rice or jasmine rice, tapos babalik mo NFA. Hindi pwede. Or like say, for example, NFA rice yung binigay sa'yo, ibabalik mo Japanese rice, hindi rin pwede. Kailangan NFA rice and same kind and quality. Okay, so I hope that's clear. So, a contract of loan is a real contract because delivery of a thing loaned is necessary for the perfection of the contract, because the purpose of the contract is to transfer either the use or the ownership of the thing loaned. So, an accepted promise to make a future loan is a consensual contract and therefore binding upon the parties. However, it is only after the delivery of the subject matter where will the real contract of loan arise. Sorry, nabubulol ako. It's also a unilateral contract because once the subject matter has been delivered, it creates obligations on only the part of one party to return it. It's also a nominate contract kasi nga may pangalan, principal contract, informal contract because no particular form is required. It's gratuitous. So what's the difference between a loan and a credit? So a loan is a contract for the delivery by one party and receipt of the other party of a given sum of money or other consumable thing upon agreement expressed or implied to repay the same amount of the same kind and quality with or without interest. While in credit, it's the ability of a person to borrow money or things by virtue of the trust or confidence reposed by the lender so that he will pay what he may promise within a specified period. The concession of credit necessarily involves the granting of loans up to the limit of the amount fixed in the credit. So just think of a credit card, for example. So credit in relation to debt. Credit is a sum credited on the books of a company to a person who appears to be entitled to it. It presupposes a creditor-debtor relationship. It may be said to imply ability by reason of property or estate to make a promised payment. Okay, so now let's discuss comodatum. The bailee acquires the temporary use of the thing in a comodatum, but not its fruits, since the bailor remains the owner of the thing. So, hindi siya usufructuary of some sort. It's different. Hihiramin mo lang talaga yung thing, yung particular thing na hiniram mo. The right to use a thing is distinct from the right to enjoy its fruit. So, wala kang usufruendi in this case. The fruits pertain to the owner of the thing producing the fruits. There's an exception, however, when there is a stipulation to make use of the fruits of the thing loaned. So again, sa civil law, lahat naman pwedeng stipulate. Basta lang, hindi siya contrary to law, public morals, public policy, and customs. So, what's the difference sa donation at comodatum? Well, sa donation, binibigay mo na talaga. Sa comodatum naman, pinapahiram mo lang. So, a comodatum is a real contract. It's principal because it can stand alone by itself. It's gratuitous, of course, because pinapahiram without any gain on the part ng nagpapahiram. And it's personal in nature because of the trust of the borrowee to the borrower, or the lender to the borrower. So kinds of comodatum, it could be ordinary, which means the use of the thing by the bailee is only for a certain period of time, or precarium, one whereby the bailor may demand the thing loaned at will. So pag ordinary comodatum, pinag-usapan nyo na yung oras. Sa precarium naman, at any time, sige, papahiram ng lender, pero at any time, pwede niyang bawiin. So, a contract is precarium when the duration and purpose of the contract are not stipulated. So, kung wala nakalagay, kung gaano katagal yung pagpapahiram, then it is a precarium. Anytime, pwedeng bawiin ni lender. Bakit anytime? Bakit allowed tong precarium? Of course, because it's a gratuitous contract. Siya pa rin yung may-ari, pinapahiram na nga lang niya. Wala namang benefit sa kanya pag pinahiram ka niya, diba? So, it's okay if gusto niya nang bawiin for his own use, for the owner's own use. Because again, it's the liberality of the lender that made the comodatum possible. So, if any compensation is to be paid by the borrower, there arises this is the difference between a comodatum and the lease contract. Sa lease contract, pinapahiram mo, pero pinagkakakitaan mo. Nagpapabayad ka. So, paupa. Iba yung pinapaupahan mo yung isang bagay sa pinapahiram mo ang isang bagay. And if the consideration is to render some service, an innominate contract will result. Meaning, walang pangalan. Pwede pa rin siyang lease, pero yung bayad mo is in the form of service. So, delivery of a thing is a condition sine qua non for the perfection of the contract. An accepted promise to deliver something but not yet followed by delivery will constitute a contract of loan, but it will not constitute a contract of comodatum. So as a general rule, non-consumable goods, whether movable or immovable property, are the subject matter of a comodatum, except in if consumable goods may be the subject matter of comodatum if the purpose of the contract is not the consumption of the object. For example, for exhibition. Like for example, pera. Pera is mutuum, not comodatum, normally. Kasi ginagamit mo yung pera. Kasi sa comodatum, di ba, ibabalik mo yung same exact thing. Pero kung yung pera na yon, for example, it's a centennial kind or special kind of money na hindi na pinoproduce ngayon ng BSP and it's for exhibition purposes, then you have to return that same exact bill of money. Not just, for example, if it's 100 pesos, hindi mo pwedeng palitan ng any other 100 peso bill. It has to be that same particular 100 peso bill. So in that case, it's a comodatum. You don't treat the money as money. You don't treat the bill as money. You treat it as a piece of paper that you have to return. Parang ganon. That specific piece of paper or bill of money. So what else do we need to discuss for comodatum? The death of either the bailor or the bailee extinguishes the contract. Except na when there is again, always exception, if there's a contrary stipulation. If there are two or more borrowers, the death of one does not extinguish the contract in the absence of the stipulation of a contrary. Kasi meron pa. For example, dalawa yung borrowers. Buhay pa naman yung lender. So it doesn't extinguish it. The bailee can neither lend nor lease the object of a contract to a third person. So yung pinahiram sa'yo lang, ikaw lang yung intended na hihiram niyan. Bawal mong ipahiram further sa iba. Unless na lang if there's again, stipulation to the contrary. Or, depende sa nature of the thing, members of the household may make use of the thing loaned. So, for example, pinahiram ka ng TV, diba? So, dinala mo sa bahay mo, pwedeng gamitin ng naturally, given the nature of the television, diba? Tapos alam naman ng nagpahiram na sa bahay mo siya ilalagay, then naturally, pwedeng manood din yung mga kasama mo sa bahay dun sa TV na yun na hiniram. Okay, so now let's go to the obligations of the bailee. Yung bailees yung nangihiram, tama ba? Yup, yung nanghihiram. So the obligations of the bailee, first and foremost, is to take care of the thing with the diligence of a good father of the family, unless there is a stipulation that a different kind of care is required. The use of the thing loaned only for the purpose to which it was loaned for and not for any other purpose. Pay ordinary expenses for the use and preservation of the thing, and a portion, only a portion of extraordinary expenses arising from the actual use of the thing. So if extraordinary expenses arise on the occasion of the actual use of the thing by the bailee, even though he acted without fault, they shall be borne equally by both the bailor and the bailee, unless there is a stipulation to the contrary. Return, obligation to return, and not retain the identical thing loaned. So the bailee has no right to retain the thing loaned, even as security on the ground that the bailor owes him something. That's a different matter. So yung subject ng comodatum na hiniram niya, kailangan niyang ibalik. Kahit pa na merong expenses, for example, sa extraordinary expenses na na-incur at binayaran, di ba dapat hati sila at binayaran ni bailee? Hindi yun pwedeng reason para i-hold niya yung thing or i-retain niya yung thing, because the ownership of the thing still remains with the bailor and only temporary use was granted by the bailor to the bailee. So compensation shall not be proper when one of the debts arises from a depositum or from obligations of a depositary or a bailee in a comodatum. That's different. Di porkat may utang siya sa'yo, you're gonna hold the thing na hiniram mo. You have to return the thing. Magsingilan kayo sa separate transaction. So the bailor who knowing the flaws of the thing loaned does not advise the bailee of the same, yung nagpahiram, shall be liable to the latter for damages which he may suffer by reason thereof. So alam na ni lender na may defect yung thing. And yung defect ng thing na to, after niya ipahiram, yung nanghiram suffered damages because of it and hindi aware yung nanghiram. So in that case, the owner of the thing, yung nagpahiram, would be liable for damages dun sa pinahiraman niya. The bailee cannot lawfully sell the thing to satisfy damages. Walang ganon. The mere failure of the bailee to return the subject matter of comodatum to the bailor does not constitute adverse possession on the part of the bailee who holds the same in trust. Okay. Liability for loss due to fortuitous event. As a general rule, the bailee is not liable because the ownership again still remains with the bailor, and it's a fortuitous event without fault of the bailee. So, there is an exception na kahit may fortuitous event, liable pa rin si bailee. That is if meron niyang fortuitous event, pero nung nangyari yung fortuitous event, the bailee kept the thing longer than the period stipulated or after the accomplishment of its use. So, meron delay sa pag-return. And if the fortuitous event happened and there was damage to the thing, tapos nasa kanya pa and na-delay na yung dapat i-return na niya, hindi pa niya binabalik, then the bailee will be liable. If the bailee lends or leases it to third persons, so may also hold the bailee liable. When the thing loaned has been delivered with appraisal of its value, unless there is a stipulation exempting the bailee from responsibility in case of fortuitous event. When being able to save the thing borrowed or his own things, he chose to save his own things. So this is like an ingratitude kasi. Pinabayaan niya yung thing. And di ba may obligation siya to take care of the thing? When the bailee devoted the thing for a different use than that agreed upon, then the bailee is also liable. For deterioration due to use of the thing naman, the bailee is, as a general rule, not liable if normal wear and tear lang naman. The exception is, again, if it is expressly stipulated otherwise, if there's fault or negligence on the part of the bailee, if he devotes the thing again to a purpose different from that which it has been loaned, if he uses the thing beyond the period stipulated or mayroong delay sa pag-return. Liability for expenses other than what was already mentioned. So the bailee may also be liable. Okay. Now let's go to the obligations of the bailor, and that is to, if there's a stipulated period, if it's an ordinary comodatum, then to respect the duration of the loan, unless na lang that it's a precarium. Okay? Another exception is if kahit hindi siya precarium, kahit ordinary comodatum siya, if there's an case-to-case basis if there's an urgent need to use the thing, then pwedeng i-demand ni owner or ni bailor yung return of the thing for the temporary use din. I-respect pa rin niya yung period, pero saglit lang. Kailangan niya lang hiramin saglit. Pero ibabalik din niya dun sa nanghihiram. Kasi hindi pa tapos yung period ng paghihiram. If the bailee commits any act of ingratitude towards the bailor, since yung pagpapahiram nga is an act of liberality and gratuity, benevolence on the part of the bailor. So, pag wala na yung trust na ganon, and diba, generosity na nga to ni bailor na pinapahiram niya yung gamit niya. Siya pa rin yung owner nito. So, if may acts of ingratitude yung nanghihiram dun sa hiniraman niya, then of course, pwedeng bawiin ng nagpapahiram. So, ano ba yung mga acts of ingratitude? Example, if the bailee should commit some offense against the person, honor, or property of the bailor or his wife or children under his parental authority. If the bailee imputes to the bailor any criminal offense or any act involving moral turpitude, even though he should prove it unless the crime or the act has been committed against the bailee himself, his wife, or children under his authority, the bailee unduly refuses the bailor support when the bailee is legally or morally bound to give support to the bailor. Okay? To refund the bailee, the bailor has the obligation to refund the bailee for extraordinary expenses, as mentioned, incurred for the preservation of the thing, provided the bailee brings the same to the knowledge of the bailor. Paano niya i-refund kung di niya alam? Tapos in-incur lang ni bailee, hindi pwede. So, dapat nasa knowledge ni bailor before these expenses are incurred. Except na lang if may emergency or kailangan na talagang bayaran para hindi masira yung thing, parang gano'n. So, case-to-case basis, then, the bailor is liable to the bailee for damages for hidden flaws as mentioned earlier. So, alam niya nang may flaw, may defect, tapos pinahiram pa rin niya, hindi niya sinabi dun sa pinagpapahiraman niya, ngayon, yung nanghiram, suffer damages. So, parang buisit. So, the bailor cannot exempt himself from the payment of expenses or damages by abandoning the thing to the bailee kasi siya pa rin yung owner ng thing eh. So, bawal. Bawal yung i-abandon na sige sa'yo na lang yan. Kasi hiramin lang naman, di naman binigay. Alright? So, that's it for comodatum. The next topic would be mutuum.